You got some guys out there 23, 24 years old.
Absolutely. Grown men.
Grown men. Some guys got a mortgage. You know what I'm saying? They got a mortgage. They got to worry about their family. They got stuff going on. And you lined up across from an 18-year-old. Come on, man. Come on. These guys working on their 401k. Welcome to the. Are we gonna go with it?
We'll give it one of the options, man. You know, we kind of in the middle to the back half of the season, so I gotta give a shout out. To my friend Albany, EB.
Okay.
You know, part of that blue and gold.
Lord.
You know, we this is a SIAC show, but you know my affinity for North Carolina A&T.
And they just lose. We don't talk about losers.
Listen, man. We
don't talk about losers.
There's a whole conversation. I'm not gonna do that because Twitter been on fire today. Okay. I'm gonna call it a day. But the SIAC Sit Down.
I like it. I
like it too.
I like it. That might be it. That's the lead in the clubhouse.
That might be it.
That's the lead in the clubhouse. Sir. Welcome to. Let's see how that sounds.
Okay. All right.
Welcome to the SIAC Sit Down with Sly the Sports Guy and Jamie Walker.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Okay. I like that. All right. Well, let us know what you think. Well, we are here. We're back. We're here to talk some SIAC football. Been another great week of SIAC football. Jamie, how you doing?
I'm good, first and foremost, man.
Okay.
Amongst the living, which is a great thing.
There you go.
A great thing.
It's better than the alternative.
Absolutely.
Better than the alternative. Well, man, Jamie, we had a lot going on this week. Well, we'll figure out where you went later on. We'll figure out where you at later on. But let's start off with this one right here. Morehouse versus Central State.
Woo!
Morehouse, my Maroon Tigers.
Listen.
My squad. My boy. They talk trash about. Everybody was talking trash about my team except me.
Yep.
I wasn't talking.
There's no windows in here, but somebody said lightning comes through walls and stuff like that, man. It really don't matter.
All year long, I was telling you how great Morehouse was. All year long. Morehouse, great team, full of greatness. They go up to Central State. Go to Wilberforce, Ohio.
They did.
They went to Wilberforce, Ohio, and defeated them. Was it on homecoming?
They did, man. They
on
did.
Homecoming.
I heard my guy Hugh Douglas, Central State alum, talking about it, man, talking about the vibe and everything going on up there. But Morehouse, they did what they were supposed to.
They did what they were supposed to do.
You know, as a winning team.
Morehouse, 2-game winning though. Last time Morehouse won 2 games in a row.
I don't know. I don't know if we were born or any of that.
I don't know, man. We're going to have to reach out to A.D. Drew and see if A.D. Drew, the SID over there at Morehouse, reach out to him and see when was the last time Morehouse won 2 games in a row. Well, as you can see, you look at the score. The score was 31-26. Morehouse went up to they won. They found a way to score a variety of ways. You know, they scored on a fumble recovery. You saw that. They scored on a field goal, an 18-yard run. Morehouse found a couple of different ways to get on the scoreboard, man. I'm looking at some of the stats. You know, Miles Scott, he came off of, some 300-yard passing games.
He did.
Now a little bit of back to reality. You know, he dropped down to 158.
Yeah.
1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
But I'm certain he's cool with it as long as they got the W.
Long as they got the W, that's the only thing that matters. But one guy who continues to be a bright light for Morehouse, Nicholas Woodford. Nicholas Woodford, young man, had 95 yards, 1 touchdown, carrying the ball. What did he do receiving? He was a threat receiving last week.
Definitely against Tuskegee, man. When you're talking about what they needed to do, you know, they talked about the yardage against Tuskegee last week and it going backwards to some degree as far as the running game was concerned with the sacks. But yeah, man, he is a threat in both facets.
Mm-hmm. He didn't get off in the receiving game today, but his total yardage was 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Good job for Nicholas Woodford from Morehouse, making things happen. Now, looking on that other side, Central State, you don't get to play Lane every week.
they were Central Stating, but man, there's two things that you've mentioned all year, and I know it's been a long season. The teams are different. They scored against Kentucky State, which is now one of the upper echelon teams in the conference. Yeah. But along with this, Central State's offense came alive, man. Looking at that game, look at the replay of that game, and I'll tell you, they were able to get the ball going up and down the field, man. Finally, it was some consistent offense and took Morehouse to the brink. But Morehouse really, quite honestly, showed their moxie and was finally able to kind of put something together to close out Central State at the end, even on homecoming, man. So give credit to them for a second, man. Give a credit to Morehouse. But Central State is starting to become better, and we're seeing a couple of these teams at the end of the year start to kind of find their groove.
Yep, Campbell Caldwell, quarterback for him. He threw for 3 touchdowns, 150-something yards. So he's making things happen in the air. Just they gotta put it. They just can't put it all together. They gotta put it together. That's
yeah.
They gotta put it together.
And that's just a sign of a young team. We talked about 50-some odd new players on that squad, man. They'll get it together at some point. I think they'll be a scary team. One of those teams that, of course, has the opportunity to play spoiler, but not necessarily a team that's going to, finish in the top half of the league, but a team you better definitely watch out for.
Well, since we're talking about top half of the league, we might as well go to the top of the league. Albany State played Clark Atlanta, and they 32-7. Is that a taking behind the woodshed? Is that taking behind the woodshed?
You know what? It eventually became a taking behind the woodshed because this game kind of developed really slow.
It did.
Isaiah Knowles didn't start again for Albany State, but in relief, and what's the young man's name? Quarterback. But number 9.
Number 9.
He played a really good game, kept it within the confines of what they're able to do, and they used that 2 to 3-headed monster in the running game to really space out the scoring when it came to winning this game. 32-7 looks like a blowout. It certainly does. Clark Atlanta was in it for a long time before Albany State really used that depth to be able to kind of stretch out the lead, and there was really no chance for Clark Atlanta to come back at all.
Yeah, the score was 7-13 at the half. It was a close game at the half. Clark had a chance to kind of put the score before the half, but threw a late interception on a Hail Mary going down the field. But then you got to look. They held them that same score all the way to the end of the third quarter, and then Albany tacked on 6 points at the end of the third quarter. And then so now you got what was scored 19 I think it was 19-7 in the fourth quarter, and then Albany State cream rises to the top. They just started running.
And that's a sign of a championship squad or championship level squad, being able to kind of take out parts but maintain what you're able to do all year. So they got championship moxie, man. They're right there.
And they had two backs go over 100 yards. They had Thomas and White. I got to learn how to say this guy's name. Tion White. Because I'm calling their last game of the year.
Now check this out. You may be able to call up here and get the correction. Tion.
Okay.
Tion White. Now, if it's anything else, hey, feel free to tweet Sly and give him the correction.
Tweet me, let me know. Tweet me, send me a tweet, let me know. And we love when people reach out to us, man. Shout out. Well, we'll give a shout out in a second. We'll give a shout out in 1 second. But like I say, big games for both of those backs. Both of those backs rush for over 100 yards. So anytime you have two backs going over 100 yards, that's a lot of carries, and that just pounding away.
For sure.
All right, our next game, and then we'll give a shout out right here. Fort Valley traveled. They traveled to Benedict. Now, this is a Fort Valley team that was short a couple of people.
Yes.
They were short a couple of people. They went to Benedict, and they played Benedict, and they gave Benedict everything they could handle.
Yeah.
They gave him everything they could handle, but the game started off Jackson Williams. This kid, Jackson Williams, first play of the game, First play of the game, Jackson Williams receives the kickoff and goes 92 yards.
I've seen this before.
They didn't even put up the scoreboard graphic yet. It was that quick. It was that quick, young man. Boom, 92 yards, man.
Shout out to y'all on the call.
Oh, yeah, I was on the call. Me and my guy, Stacy Huff.
Who does a phenomenal job, man.
That's my guy.
I listen to play-by-play in color all the time. Hey, he does a great job.
That is my guy. As a interesting side note, me and Stacy got our start together calling games on the radio 25 years ago.
Wow.
25 years ago. Almost 25 years ago, we got our call together, starting games on the radio. That's my guy.
That's awesome. I read that and I said, okay, that's a nice tidbit. You can always tell when chemistry exists.
Oh yeah.
In radio and TV when you're calling a ball game, man. It just goes back and forth. So phenomenal call, man.
But this Benedict Fort Valley game, Fort Valley gave Benedict everything they wanted. They gave Benedict everything that Benedict asked for and a little bit more. And considering Fort Valley was short a few players because of the suspension. They were short a head coach, and they were short, some other players. But kudos to Fort Valley's defensive coordinator. I think Barlow. I think that's his name. He called a good game defensively.
Yeah.
He threw. Daniel Ocean was lost. Not Daniel Ocean. Is his name Daniel Ocean? Darius. Daniel Ocean, that's from Ocean's 11.
Yes.
Okay. But anyway, he was confused. That defense Fort Valley threw out there had that young man confused. He didn't know where to go, what to do with the ball. They were all over him, and that was a tough defense from Fort Valley. But the thing is, Benedict, they have the toughest defense.
Yes.
Benedict, they have monsters over there, man. They have some monsters on that Benedict defense.
Isaiah Stevens.
Oh, God.
Israel Nwokocha.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay. Tometrius Patterson. And others. Listen, man, that front seven is so just good at stifling and stuffing everything. When it comes to being able to go through your full complement of offense, that D-line and linebackers just set the tone for what they're able to do. And even when you come to the defensive backs, the back, 3 or 4, at the end of the day, if you get that much pressure up front, it just makes your DBs so much better, man. So that defense erases a whole lot of mistakes that an offense or special teams may make. But we already talked about it. Offense only scored 7 points.
Yeah.
Special teams. I've seen this before. They did the same thing against Clark Atlanta. When you talking about special teams gives you a touchdown, your defense gives you 3 more. That is hard to beat, but that just means Benedict may have a chink in the armor. We don't know.
Might have a little chink in that offense may be suspect.
We are in the championship run. It's this D2 ends a little earlier.
You gotta be complete. And I guess we'll talk about that when we break down our rankings. We'll talk about who complete and who isn't complete. Now this one, I think, did we vote this like game of the week or something last week? I'm not sure.
If we didn't, we should have.
We should. This was one of the most important games of the week. Edward Waters traveled up to Frankfort, Kentucky State, and this one we got to pull out. They took Edward Waters behind the woodshed. They gave him a good old-fashioned butt cut on this one. This was a spanking.
They did, but
ain't no ain't no butt.
I looked at this game, man, and 28-14 going into the fourth quarter. Now, I mean, yes, you are up 2 touchdowns already, but then mistakes and just stifling defense by Kentucky State. We talk about their offense a lot, and absolutely they should be talked about. Coach Felton Huggins sits there, looks over defense, calls a correct play. But I don't think we've talked enough about their defense and enough about their depth, because Torrance Bardell did not play the entire game. I think he got injured. And so here comes Denham Johnson. Here comes Denham Johnson, who was the original starter and played a really good game, and they were able to stretch again that lead and be able to have the score look like a blowout. It was a blowout, but give credit to that entire team. They are playing really good ball.
One thing I say about this Kentucky State team, the Kentucky State passers are very accurate. I'm looking at the stats. Terrence Bordell, he was 9 for 10, 122 yards for a touchdown. Denham Johnson was 5 for 8, 130 yards for a touchdown. And
look at that replay. I got it. John McCall.
Look at this guy has been making catches. Look, this guy's been making catches all year. Look at him, just going up, just grabbing the ball. I mean, John McCall, he a receiver. I know we were just talking about quarterbacks, but let's talk about this dude as a receiver, man. John McCall, 5 receptions, 162 yards, 1 touchdown. And look at, I mean, DB's all over him. DB's all over this man, and he's making these catches, man. John McCall is he doing something special, man. Shout out to the young man who did the did those videos, man. If you go back and forth looking at some of these videos with John McCall, man,
he's playing, man.
He's playing.
And the thing about it is, Edward Waters has one of the better secondaries in the SIAC. When you're talking about the likes of David Law Mortimer, who I think had another interception in this game, they do have a really good secondary. John McCall just went up and did what receivers are supposed to do: high point the ball and look it in and bring forth the catch. And so he's been doing that, really getting good notoriety the last couple of games. He is a force to be reckoned with in the SIAC. So kudos to him. Kudos to Kentucky State. They really have a path to the championship that you can really see.
I like what I'm seeing. I love what I'm seeing out of Kentucky State. And then the way they're doing it, what they're doing, they're playing the 2-quarterback system. I'm not a true fan.
You are not.
Of multiple quarterbacks.
You are
what
not.
Coach Huggins has done, he's found a way to work both of these kids in there and make sure they work right, the 2 quarterbacks. And they're not throwing a lot of passes, but they're just very accurate. They are both of them.
They really are, because I think the 2-quarterback system that Coach Huggins has, they have different strengths. They have similar styles, but Denham Johnson's a little more elusive when it comes to running. He's probably the faster quarterback. Bardell looks like a fullback anyway, playing the quarterback position.
Big boy.
Yes, he is. And so when he runs, short yardage, hey, he's gonna go get it. But he's elusive enough to know I can run you over. I'm not going to try to run around you. I'm going to get the yardage I need and get down for the most part. So where Denham Johnson is, he's a game breaker. He can take it, the distance. But definitely 2 styles, and it works for Kentucky State.
And then throw in the running game.
Yes.
Throw in Chad Elsey. Chad Elsey, another young man, he had 154 yards, 3 touchdowns. And you see one of those touchdowns right there by Chad Elsey. 154 yards, 3 touchdowns. When I saw that stat, I was like, wait a minute, they bring back the flex bone?
Listen.
What they doing down there? What they doing up there
I
in
saw
Kentucky?
that thing firsthand, and that's what they did used to run for that for those kind of yards. It would be 200 and 300 a pop, especially towards the end of that coaching regime. But yes, Elsey is for real.
He's for real. He is for real, man. And now we start to look at paths toward the championship.
Hey, sir.
We'll talk about that later.
Go ahead.
We'll talk about Kentucky State. We'll talk about Kentucky State, their path to later. And then our next game, the game somebody had to win. Somebody had to win, and it was Miles College.
See, man.
Somebody had to win, man.
They did, and even though I thought it would be a little, I thought Miles would win handily, and to a degree they did. I think the score could have been, a little more decided, but Miles was able to use Brady Van Diver, at quarterback, and he won one of the superlative awards for the SIAC.
I disagree with that, but we'll talk later.
Oh, Okay.
I disagree with that.
I love the disagreement.
Okay.
But yes, and Miles, again, putting together this young line, because I've talked to Coach Gould a couple of times this year, calling a couple of their games. In fact, 3 of them. Mm-hmm. And they have a true young offensive line. I mean, true. All of them. All 5 of them. Freshmen.
Yes.
Do you know how hard that is, man?
That's hard.
Because you being a defensive guy and you see that fresh blood in front of you at that linebacker position.
Look, yeah, they still got milk on the corner of their mouth.
Listen.
Man. You know, I see that, man. that made, oh, man. I knew I was going to go off. I'm lined up, guy who's 18 years old lined up across from me.
Exactly.
And then you playing a lot of these teams now thanks to COVID and transfers and all that. They lining up against an 18-year-old, man.
But, man, just imagine that, man. You're dealing with a fresh offensive line. So they're building. Again, you know, Coach Gould talked about, you know, them understanding from the AD, president, everybody, understanding what this is right now. They want to win, but it was a matter of putting together a true collective full game. So I think they did that against Lane. Lane, again, trying to find something going on. They at least scored 13 points.
Oh, okay.
Within this game.
That's where you're going?
I try to find positivity in everything. So.
You are a very good man. You're a very good man to find some positivity in Lane's season so far, which has been a total dumpster fire. Lane has been a total dumpster fire all year. And maybe it'll get better next year.
Maybe it will. The thing about it is Coach Connor has been in this conference before.
Yeah, he knows how to win in this conference.
So I think you got to give him – and it's probably something, you know, I'm going to move forward. But I don't know why we think Power 5 tactics work in every space. We can't just fire coaches and get them their buyouts. So everybody wants to change coaches every year and all the things. It don't work.
It don't work.
Way.
Sometimes you got to let a coach build. You got to let a coach cook. And by Lane firing that coach last year, and here's the thing, he didn't do. If you look at Lane's game last year, he was in every game. He was in every game last year, and you know had a few chances to win. But you got to look at some of the difficulties that you have coaching at a Lane. See, success at a Miles or Tuskegee, you're talking about, okay, I need you to be in that championship hunt every year. I need you to win 8 games every year. That's what would be success at a Miles or, you know, at a Tuskegee. You know, that's success there. But at Lane, when you talk about success at Lane, we're talking about, okay, you're going to go 4-6, but every now and then, every 4th year, maybe 3rd year, I want you to pop up at 6-4 or maybe 7-3, you know, pop up at that and then just be in contention for a title and maybe even sneak into the title game. That's success at Miles, and I know some people don't want to hear it, but sometimes the truth hurts.
You mean at Lane?
I mean, at Lane, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's success at Lane. Some people don't want to hear it, but sometimes the truth hurts.
I think Byron Brown did a good job.
I think he did.
I think you're dealing with a tough conference because you were dealing with the juggernaut that Benedict was under Coach Chennis Berry. You know, and I think there were a couple more teams that were right up there, the Albany States. And especially now that we are divisionless, luck has to come in there as well.
Yep.
The schedule is the schedule. You can't help it. You see it at the beginning of the year. You prognosticate as far as we do. We guess to see who's going to win, who we think is going to win, and sometimes it don't shape out that way. So, you know, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Hopefully Coach Connor get that thing turned around.
Hopefully he'll figure it out, man. Hopefully Lane will give him time to figure it out. That's the question. That's the issue. They got to give a man time to figure it out. You know, you can't run a coach off after 3 years at a school where you don't have all the financial benefits that everybody else has.
Truly.
You got to give a man time. All right. Next up on the list, Savannah State. Savannah State traveled to not Columbia. They traveled to Winsboro to play Allen. That's it. Oh God.
You being a Columbia native, you know, you definitely have to decipher the towns.
Oh, it's a difference. It's a difference. It's Winsboro a good 30 minutes down a dark road, down Highway 21. It's a good 30 minutes away from Columbia. That's going down to Fairfield County. You know, you just driving down North 21. You driving down a dark road to get there. So, but anyway, it is what it is. Savannah State went to Allen, played, scored, tied 20-20, went into overtime. Savannah State kicks a field goal. Allen has it, and Allen tries to run a reverse or a double reverse, and they fumbled. And that was the ball game.
Listen, riverboat gambling.
Hey.
Riverboat gambling. You want to go ahead and end this thing now. And, you know, when you're dealing with the overtime rules, you got a team that's already kicked the field goal. All you got to do is score the touchdown and win the ball game. And sometimes the chance goes well. But, again, that's why they call it a chance.
It's a chance.
It is risky, and the risk did not pay off, and Savannah State gets the W.
And here's the thing. We always talk about how Savannah State's defense plays. Savannah State's defense is just so good. They ended up forcing 3 interceptions. They had Jameer Dismukes throw 3 picks. He was 14 for 22, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 picks. That Savannah State defense was all over them. Problem, once again, Savannah State is their offense. Can they ever find offense? This time they did have a 100-yard rusher. Joseph Hampton rushed for over 100. He had 2 touchdowns. Quarterback still got issues with quarterback, though. Still, they played 2 quarterbacks today, so I guess they're getting better. They played 2.
Yeah, you said they had 7 at the beginning of the year.
They had 7 at the beginning of the year. A couple of weeks ago, they had 4 people throw a pass. So,
and just you can pull this up real quick.
Go ahead.
Fabian Duncan, how did he do?
Fabian Duncan, he's a beast. He's a beast, young man. 29 carries, 143 yards. Didn't get into the end zone, though.
And that might be the issue going into this game without, not going into it, but just within it. Because when you're talking about Jameer Dismukes, I think he has a better game when Fabian Duncan, when they balance each other out. So the stats are a little bit telling because Duncan got his, but couldn't get into the end zone. So I don't know if that much throwing was a detriment, but you're talking about 3 interceptions. Yeah, it was.
And those are 3 drive-killing interceptions.
Yes,
so I guess, without me watching the game, without me being there, you see stats like that, you begin to think Fabian Duncan to the left, to the right, up the middle, picking up the yardage, and then boom, Dismuke throws the interception, kills the drive.
It always is one of those things where you can do a whole lot between the 20s, but you're trying to find a way into the end zone. So may have been the case.
That may have been it. Well, those were your games this week. So what we like to do after we get the games, we want to pull out where we have the teams ranked. Before we pull out where we have the teams ranked, I forgot to get a shout out. Shout out to Coach Dickerson over at Benedict College. I often tell everybody we need more stuff on the wall. We need more stuff. We need if you want your helmet, your team's banner, jersey, whatever displayed in the studio, send it to us. We got a big studio over here. We need you to send it to us.
And if you are a football playing institution, you need to send that stuff over here because you can't see it in the shot. There's a Spelman mug over here.
Well, they
don't do it. Don't do it.
They were favored to beat Morehouse last year, so so they deserve a mug. They deserve a shout out here. But we have banners and everything. We didn't hang up all. They got a lot of banners in the back. We didn't hang up the banners. The set designer wanted to go with helmets and jerseys and stuff. But shout out to Coach Dickerson. Coach Dickerson sent over a Benedict jersey. We're getting that framed. We're getting it framed to hang up the Benedict jersey. So doesn't matter if you got a helmet, you got banners, anything you want to send. Go ahead, send it to us. You see us at one of the games, give it to us so we can go ahead and put you up in the studio. We can put you up and have you set up in the studio. See, Miles won. Now they got their helmet front and center right here.
They do. They do.
Miles got their helmet front and center. All you got to do is win and send us something. we accept bribes. And we
do.
We looking for a title sponsor too.
We still are.
Still looking for a title sponsor. So if you want to advertise your place, reach out to us. But anyway, let's go on with our rankings. Who want to go first?
I'll go. You can put mine up as usual.
Well, we'll go Jamie's rankings.
Now, I will correct something. Got an A hat on today. That's perfect. But Savannah State beating Allen, should not be above. Should be above them. Because when I do a poll or some kind of ranking, one of the first things I look at is head-to-head.
Okay.
Head-to-head, okay? Then conference wins, okay? Then wins total. And then that last one, vibes / gut.
The vibes matter.
Yes,
the
very
vibes
much
matter.
So head-to-head, Savannah State did it. So they should be further up my rankings. But for the most part.
Well, where should they be at?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would say right now, move Allen down to – I would move them down under Savannah State.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I'll move them down under Savannah State.
Okay,
That's why I move everybody else up.
Where you got Lane?
Well, Ashley, because what's crazy is I got Lane the same place. Everything else is
you ain't gonna move Lane around?
I'm not gonna move Lane around, sir. I'm not.
My bad.
But you got the round robin between Savannah State, Clark Atlanta, and Allen. Allen beat Clark Atlanta, but lost to Savannah State. So you think it's better between Clark and Savannah State?
Question marks.
Interesting question. So,
but your first pull up that again. That first four, I think you was pretty solid.
Oh, that first four is.
There you go. Thank you, Mr. Producer. It was at Albany State, number one, Benedict, number two. Because when was the last time we said Kentucky State number 3 in the conference?
We have not.
I don't think we ever said that.
Edward Waters was my prize until the other day.
I
told you gotta account for it. You've been.
I told you Edward Waters was full gold. We bring that back out. Take that out the screen. Edward Waters was fool's gold. When I saw they gave up when they almost lost to Morehouse.
Morehouse is a solid squad.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Morehouse is a solid squad.
Okay.
So I don't think they fool's gold, but that was a difficult loss the other day.
How's your son?
He's 14.
This is about the time where you start looking at colleges or whatever. You trying to work him and trying to get him a in to Morehouse. I see what you're doing. I ain't mad at you.
Listen, as long as they're paying for it. Hey, listen to me. Considerations.
Look here, Morehouse is a great school.
Absolutely.
Probably one of the greatest.
They are.
Except on the football field. Hey, Mr. Producer, can you pull up my rankings, Mr. Producer? All right. We got to work on, Mr. Producer, we got to work on that cartoon picture right there.
No, man, that's perfect.
Yeah, work on that cartoon picture. Let's see what we got. I got Albany at 1, Benedict at 2, Kentucky State at 3, Edward Waters. Wait a minute, something's off.
Uh-oh, see, that's what you get using.
Edward Waters.
Let me see who you missing.
4.
I mean, it's got the numbers.
I'm missing something. Something's off. We're going to have to.
There's no number 4 up there.
There's no number 4. It's
you missing Central State.
Okay. There you go. Well, Central State would be number 12. We'll
see.
Correct that and post edit. We'll change that up in the post edit. Here we go. Start scratching. Get my pen and I'll scratch that out right there. I'll scratch that out and move the numbers down. Mm-hmm. Scratch it out and move the numbers down. Edward Waters is my 4th ranked team, and this is a big injustice. Morehouse is my 5th rated team. Morehouse, number 5.
They're playing good ball, Sly.
Have we ever said that before in life?
Absolutely not.
Morehouse. Then there'll be Savannah State, then Allen, then Clark, Atlanta, Fort Valley, Tuskegee, Miles, and Central State, then Lane. Got to get my pencil right in, draw a little arrow right there for Central State, drawing Central State.
Like John Madden.
Yeah, let me draw that in real quick.
Okay.
There you go, Central State. Stuff at the beginning of the year, I would have never thought, I would have never pictured Tuskegee being so bad. Tuskegee being where they are now. Pull that poll up one more time. Tuskegee, the 10th rated team or the 11th rated team, I would have never pictured that.
Not at all, man.
Never pictured that.
I thought coming into this year, they were loaded. You know, I thought, Raekwon Beal would lead this offense, and I thought, the likes of Michael King, and others defending, I thought they would be a more talented team. Well, I think they are talented, but I just thought they would be a more put together team. So it's even when you're doing this and forming this, like Tuskegee is in the bottom half of the league. It is hard.
Not even half, bottom quarter.
Bottom quarter of it, man. And it is hard. And I know those you're talking about some really good coaches there too, man. Because, you've seen them at other places. You've seen what their capabilities are. You just thought they would have that. And you're dealing with a lot of alum that's on that staff. They are the winningest HBCU program. This is not good. They're not feeling this at all.
Oh, they're not happy down there in Alabama.
No.
They're not happy. The fighting Tom Joiners are mad.
Oh, man. Lionel Richie.
Listen. Lionel ain't singing no happy songs now.
No. It's saying zoom, zoom.
Zoom, zoom. Zoom, zoom. Man, it is a tough time to be a Golden Tiger right now. One of the shocks. But one of the surprises, I guess, is Morehouse, where they are. And here's the thing about Moore. I guess we'll talk about that schedule when it comes up. Well, we'll jump into it right now. Morehouse getting ready for Spellhouse weekend. Spellhouse weekend, Morehouse will be taking on Lane. Can Morehouse go on a 3-game winning streak?
All right. So here's put the camera.
3-game.
Right. So check this out. So we talk about this, a little more than just on camera. There's a text thing back and forth, and somebody pointed out to me that there's a possibility that Morehouse may go on a 4-game winning streak because the schedule is shaping out to be that way. And depending on how this thing goes, Morehouse with a 4-game winning streak
going into the final game against
Sylvester
Clark?
Williams said that. See, I know he disses. Listen. Sometimes you play radio and TV. Go back to him. He did. Now you see that Clark Atlanta pennant above his head. However, and you also see him as the host of the of the Teddy Keaton Show. However, he has talked about this. There is a distinct possibility that this may occur, sir. And I think you might be on to something.
That could possibly be the game of the year.
See, man, I'm calling that game, dude.
You calling that game?
I am calling that game.
Oh, I don't like you, bro.
Oh, I'm calling that game because we didn't think it would be November 8th.
See, you on such a high, and I'll be calling Miles versus Tuskegee.
See, don't do that, man. Don't do that.
I didn't say where I would be at. I just said you was on a high, and I'll be calling Miles.
And we thought it was in reverse.
I definitely thought it was in reverse. I thought it was. But anyway, though, Morehouse taking on Lane. Are we even giving Lane a shot in this?
I mean, there's always a shot, man.
There's always a shot.
There's always
here's the thing about homecoming. Homecoming, you have all the other festivities and everything going on. A lot of times that home team can get distracted. I think NBA YoungBoy is coming to
Spellhouse.
I think he might be in Atlanta. I don't think they're gonna let him in. I don't think they'll let
Not
him
gonna let
in
him on the yard.
Not on the yard. But I think he might be in Atlanta that week. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know these kids now.
I will say this, man. One of the underrated homecomings.
Oh yeah. Spellhouse.
For sure.
Yeah.
Listen, I almost and I tend to leave 2-3 hours early to go to games.
Oh yeah.
Try to be there at least 2.5 hours early.
Mm-hmm.
I almost missed kickoff a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thinking I'm gonna leave and traffic just wall to wall, man. It was nuts.
I learned years ago because I've done a couple of Spellhouse homecomings. I've done a couple of them, but the first one I went to, same situation as you. Anytime I'm calling the game, I want to be there 2.5 hours before the game starts, so I can prep, so I can make sure everything's ready, make sure I'm good. I tried to get to Morehouse 2.5 hours. I live in Atlanta.
Yes.
I figured, hey, I'll get there 2.5 hours. Nah, that didn't work out. Couldn't find a place to park. Couldn't, none of that.
None of that. Folks, I know you're trying to keep the campus safe. I get it. I get all the things. They won't, buying without selling. They won't trying to let me park and go to the gate right there. Like,
so what I do now for Spellhouse, if I go to Spellhouse, I'm calling the game. I learn. I catch an Uber. I get an Uber to drop me off as close as I can get, as close as I can get to the school. I get on out and I just walk on the way down. People know me around there, so I can. The security like me.
Yes.
So I can kind of get in the stadium. I just tell her, hey, I'm calling the game. They'll let me in.
Yep.
Now, players don't. They get a little bit upset at me for the Spellman comments, but but other than that, but yes, Spellhouse one of the underrated because it's homecoming time.
Yes, it is. It is homecoming season.
We definitely talking about some of these homecoming games. All right, next game, Tuskegee versus Albany State. Tuskegee versus Albany State. Are we even discussing that?
We can talk about it, man, but only because
it's homecoming.
Not just that it's homecoming, but I think Tuskegee, depending on because I think they were on bye week last week, and may have had the opportunity to get healthy, and just get some things in order. Again, we talked about how Clark Atlanta was in the game up until the end, especially with Albany State. Having some of those players, be out and other folks are playing. And so getting that continuity in and going against Tuskegee, who has the potential, they played some games without some folks as well, and they actually can put together drives and score. Maybe it's a little bit closer. I wouldn't call it a bottom feeder type situation. Albany State has all the tools to win the game, absolutely. But I think it's closer. It'll be closer than the experts predict.
You're such a great diplomat. I mean, you are such a. One thing I admire about you, Jamie, is the way you can be nice to people. Be polite and don't want to offend people. I wish I had your ability. I truly do, Jamie. I truly wish I had your ability to see the good in everyone. Albany State gonna win by 35 points.
35.
That's rude. 28. They'll win by 28.
Okay.
Albany State will win by 28, man. The quarterback out. Tuskegee, Raquan Bill, he's out. All right. Tuskegee has had 2 weeks to hear how bad Tuskegee was. Albany State has been doing nothing but just getting better and better and better and better. It is nowhere in the world Tuskegee can keep up with Albany State. It's no way in the world. I think this will get ugly quick. I think it'll get ugly quick. I think those boys from Albany State are just gonna run straight through.
And this is Albany State's homecoming.
It is. Oh yeah, it is Albany State's homecoming. Oh man, you better hope they party too hard at the party
I'm
Friday
talking about
night.
that too, man. I mean, just a little bit. Albany State, one of my favorite venues in the SIAC.
I've never done a
Never called a
game
game.
at the Coliseum. Is it Coliseum?
Yep.
I've never called a game at the Coliseum.
One of my favorite
Never.
venues in the SIAC.
Never.
I love how that bowl sits. Right there off the highway. Easy access to get in. I've always liked the venue.
Never called the game at Albany State. I need to talk to the scheduler about that.
I talk to the schedulers too, man. I still want to get, I know we're talking trash about them right now, but I want to get down to the and ball and parlay. I want to get down there to the shed.
As much as I've been hard on Tuskegee the past week or so, but calling a game in Cleve-Abbott Memorial Stadium, that is one of the venues I truly, truly enjoy. I truly enjoy because, especially if we're talking about homecomings, going down to Tuskegee, their homecoming and their games, they can pull the RVs and stuff inside the stadium, and then they can sit on the hill under the tents and stuff and watch the game. Calling the game in Tuskegee. In Tuskegee, man, that's one of the great venues. That's one of the great venues in the SIAC. Just totally up and top to bottom. I love calling games.
Because the one I did get, I had to call it in another location.
Yeah, we had to do it remotely.
I was like, man, really? So yeah, I got to get down.
Yeah, man, and I love it. And I always went to hear Tuskegee. Was that the Crimson Piper marching band? To hear them, the Crimson Piper marching band, play ball and parlay.
Yes.
I don't think it's anything better. Just when that band gets to going and they're playing ball and parlay, and you got the student body rocking back and forth. You got the cheerleaders doing their little dance. Man, Big Poke is looking down proud. He's looking down proud.
There's a song to the HBCU space that's more iconic as far as bands in relation to their football teams.
Well, Nick, but everybody plays Nick.
Right, that's what I mean.
Okay.
That's what I mean attached to you. I'm not gonna mention P5, P4 schools, but there's a couple of schools that you attach the song to their football teams. And you talk about that, but yeah, ball and parlay. But yeah, man, off on the tangent. We talk all day.
Oh yeah,
about
we talk all day about homecoming and
that,
stuff like that. Next one, Central State is playing Kentucky Christian. Central State's playing Kentucky Christian, and I don't understand why this game wasn't homecoming for Central State. Central State homecoming was last week. I'm gonna be honest. I know absolutely nothing about Kentucky Central Christian.
Hope Central State wins. There we go.
We gonna put it here for you. We gonna say Central State.
Yes.
Partially because I had no idea.
Clue.
I don't even know if they're NAIA or Division II. I think Kentucky Christian is NAIA. If I'm not mistaken, they might be a part of the Appalachian Athletic Conference. I'm not 100%. Yep, the Appalachian Athletic Conference. The only reason I know that is because I used to call the volleyball, softball, and baseball championships for the Appalachian Athletic Conference.
This guy is, a connoisseur, a jack of all trades.
I'm all over, but I've been doing this thing almost 25 years. Man. All right, next one, Savannah State is going to Augusta, Georgia to play Fort Valley in the Good Trouble Classic.
That is an interesting game, man.
Interesting.
It really is, because as much trash as we talked about Fort Valley a couple of weeks ago, they really came to play against Benedict.
They came to play against Benedict.
Really did.
They came to play.
Savannah State having their offensive woes, if Fort Valley can put some stuff together, they will absolutely be in this game, because I don't think Savannah State wows you offensively.
Savannah State doesn't even show up offensively.
So
I don't know how they're going to wow you. They're going to show up.
So I think this is an interesting game. Coin flip here. And I think you get your players back, you get your head coach back in this one. Hey, man, go Fort Valley for me.
I'm going to go Fort Valley, too. I'm going to go Fort Valley because I think Fort Valley's defense is just super, super strong. And I keep looking at all of these Fort Valley losses, If you look at all of these Fort Valley losses, they're about each game. They're about 2 plays away from winning. They're 2, maybe 3 plays away from winning. So for them to be 1-5, they're the best 1-5 team in the nation.
Yes,
they're the best 1-5 team in the nation. It's like a couple of plays. Fort Valley is probably 5-1. Probably 5-1, and that's just so scary. They are so scary. That last game of the season against Albany State, man. It might not be a bigger walkaway as you think it'll be.
We talked about building programs. Mm-hmm. I think Fort Valley is on their way.
They're on their way. Not there yet, but they're on their way. Next one we have Clark Atlanta going to Fairfield, Alabama to take on Miles.
Yes, man.
And if I ever heard of a must-win game, this is a must-win game for Clark Atlanta. Clark Atlanta has to figure something out. They got to figure it out. They got to go out here and beat Miles. I think both of them are young, but Miles is younger.
Yes.
Miles is younger, so Clark Atlanta got to do something.
I am calling that game from the friendly confines of Fairfield, Alabama. That homecoming is descended upon as well. So that is the homecoming game.
Talk to A.A. Moore down there. Tell Brother Moore we need to get something for the studio.
Okay. I will talk to Brother Moore, Big Brother Moore.
Yep.
Yes, I will talk to him. But good people, by the way.
Good people.
Absolutely good people. But yeah, that is an interesting game. Because you are exactly right. With the missing with the injuries that have occurred with Clark Atlanta, they have been forced to go young.
Yep.
But they are a little bit older than Miles.
Just a little bit, yep.
Will the homecoming, and them getting their first win of the year last week give them some momentum going into this game? Or will Clark Atlanta and their 3-game losing streak kind of say, all right, I'm tired of this. Let's get this done.
Yeah. Another interesting thing about homecoming, with Miles having their homecoming and with them being so young, you would hope Coach Gould, his thing is, how do I make sure that I keep my players reeled in for homecoming? In Division II, you have certain budgetary restraints sometimes with some programs. The bigger Division I schools, whenever they play a home game, they get a hotel and they're out of here. They're gone. They travel, 45 minutes away from the school, so you don't have to worry about any of the distractions or anything on campus. I'm not quite sure if Miles does that. I don't know how their budget and everything works at Miles, but now you have a bunch of freshmen out there who are first time away from home. They're away from home, and now you're gonna have all the parties and the festival. I think Bootsy supposed to be at Miles' homecoming.
Listen,
so
Miles, I got to give their fan support a bunch of kudos, man, because they show up. They show up. That team was 0-5 when I called their last game a couple weeks ago, and it was a crowd. It was a crowd, and I'm telling you, I think I said it last show. There was a bunch of stuff going on at the same time. Mm-hmm. It was in the area. Other folks playing. I'm not gonna mention them, but yeah, it was a lot of stuff going on in the area, and they showed up and showed out.
But my question is, though, how do you keep those young freshmen focused? And I think that's the dilemma you have with homecoming.
Yes. When
you have a young team like that, you have a young team, so.
It'll be interesting, man, because when you're talking about them being focused, and it's the first time this happening, and he has lamented on how young this squad is.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you go from the perspective of you like that taste of winning that you got last week. This is what we do to keep that going.
Yeah, okay. All right, the next one, it is a big cat battle. The Benedict Tigers traveling to Duval. They'll be playing Edward Waters in Jacksonville. Benedict will be playing Edward Waters in Jacksonville, and Edward Waters, fresh off a butt cut. Get ready to get another one.
I disagree.
Tell me why. Talk to me.
I disagree, man. I think Edward Waters playing in Glover Stadium. And I wish I knew the weather right offhand.
I wish I did too.
I wish I knew the weather.
Hey, we're talking about venues. I like
Yes,
I
I
like
do.
calling games. I like calling games there. Depends.
Okay, thank you.
Go
I
ahead.
appreciate you doing that because we did not get the same treatment that
Okay.
Simone got.
And here's the thing. I guess this is just for the announcers that we care. The way, and I'm tell you a little bit of trade secret on how a broadcast works. When a game is televised, usually the main cameras are set up on the press box, and the press box is on the home side. So what happens, that main camera is shooting the field, and you get to see the visitor side. 9 times out of 10, the visitor side isn't crowded.
Right.
You know, the visitor side doesn't have a lot of people unless it's a big game. So the stadium can look empty or not very full when the home side is completely full. But the way Edward Waters Stadium is set up, I talked to Dr. Faison, and Dr. Faison said this on another show. He said that he made sure that the press box was on the visitor side, so when they have a televised game, it's always showing the home side, and the home side always looks crowded.
Yes.
So when you call the game at Edward Waters, you're facing that home side, so you get to see a big crowd, and it feels good. Now, here's the part that Jamie has a little bit of a disagreement on. When you call that game, Edward Waters has a press box, and they have a room dedicated for the television broadcast in that press box, and then they have another little area right by the elevator, and depends on who's there, they have been on some occasions put the broadcast by the elevator, and then had the room that was for the actual television.
Yes.
The radio people were in there.
Right.
So you kind of outside a little bit.
You are. You are. But it was a blast, though, man. It was a blast because it was my first time going down there to finally see just the venue and everyone else, man. It is awesome. You got a DJ in the booth. Yep. Like, you're over there. Like, you are on the visitor side, but everything is going on that side. So you kind of understand what's going on. And the way it flows, you kind of have to be in that area because you're away. Because everybody is walking through, so you don't want to interrupt the broadcast as much as possible. But it's still a great venue, man. But back to the game.
Back to the game.
I think Edward Waters pulls this off, man.
Ooh.
I think they do. I think Benedict. I want Benedict to show me a full complement of offense, man.
Yeah.
That is the only thing, because just think about this for a second. If Edward Waters gets at least the points they got against Morehouse, they win the game compared to what Benedict is able to do. They scored 14 points the last game.
Yeah.
Okay, 14-7 against and we talked about Fort Valley. There have been some 2 10-point outputs. The offense going against this particular offense, and I think this last game, I think Edward Waters has a lot to do, a lot to go to redeem itself. Going back home may give them that chance. I'm going to pick them.
I don't think Edward Waters' offense can score against Benedict's defense. Benedict's defense is the best defense in the conference. Their front four is just mean. They are mean.
Nasty.
They're big. Wokacha,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
and then they got the 2 big boys, 95 and 99. I called that game last week, and they had big 95. I think his name was Colton or Cody or something like that. I can't remember his name. But they had this big boy listed at 250 pounds. This boy ain't weighed 250 pounds since he was in the 10th grade. That boy big. And then here's the thing. He's big, and they move. They move good. I saw big 95 and 99 doing stunts. One would pull around the other and go around the end. I saw 95 ran down a screen pass. Man, those boys big and they move,
Agile,
man.
mobile, and hostile.
And then you got Stevens, the linebacker. Yes. He's nasty.
Yes, he is.
He's nasty. And I think number 6 or number 5. Oh, man. Benedict defense is mean.
Can they sustain enough offense not to make those guys tired?
It don't matter.
That's why I asked about the weather. That's why that's why I asked about the weather. Hey, 90 plus out there.
It ain't gonna be 90 plus.
You don't think so?
Nah,
Not Duval.
It's
Yeah, I know it's October, but still.
It's October. It ain't gonna be 90
80,
plus.
okay.
It might be 80, 85.
Okay.
You know, but these boys, it don't matter, man. They hit hard. Benedict hit.
They do.
They hit hard. I feel bad for them.
I synced the SEE in apostrophe T.
I feel bad for some of them quarterbacks, man. I feel bad for them. They hit them hard.
They do.
So, and I think Barton gonna get a licking put on him. He ain't never.
And if I'm not mistaken, he was out of the game at the end of the Kentucky State game.
Oh wow!
So we got to get a report.
That.
Yeah, we got to get it. You know, we ain't got the fresh too deep yet, but yeah.
I did not know that, man. Wow, he cut to me at the wrong time. He wasn't supposed to cut to the whole shot.
That's all right, though. That's all right. That's hey, look, you the Black Adam Schefter. You get reports.
We gotta get this. We gotta get our producer to do a lot better, man. I don't know what's going on.
We need that producer
with our producer alone, man.
He waited on me.
We gotta figure him out, man. But the final game, Kentucky State taking on Franklin Pierce University in Puerto Rico. Huh?
No.
They're not going to Puerto Rico.
No,
They're
Puerto
not.
Rico.
No. Well, that game has been moved from Puerto Rico to Rink, New Hampshire. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but they won't be playing. They won't be taking that flight to Puerto Rico. They'll be taking a 14-hour bus ride to New Hampshire. Now, I'm not quite sure. We saw the press release. The press release said it was field conditions. So, safety of these kids is the utmost important. You don't want to send these kids down there and have them playing on a bad grass field. You mess around, twist an ankle, tear ACL.
Destroy your whole season.
Something like that. And especially when you got a chance to actually – because Kentucky State got a chance to actually win the conference.
They do.
They got a chance to win the conference. And so, the higher-ups decided it was best that they pull out of the Puerto Rico commitment. So, I think it's a great idea to play that game to play a game in Puerto Rico, to have an HBCU game in Puerto Rico.
I agree.
I would love to see two HBCU teams playing that game, but hopefully some promoter will get that right. We've had some incidents of promoters this year flaking out on some of the games, in the D1 side. But
this is what I always say. Yes, I fully agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're in the space and the place now where promoters have to be vetted.
Yes.
And these classics or games or whatever just have to be thoroughly looked into, because the protection of the schools, you do not want these schools to be slighted in the least of anything, man.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And I don't want to blame the promoter for this Puerto Rico game, because I don't know the details on why that game was moved.
Right.
But we do know that they put out a press release saying field conditions.
Yes, press release did say that.
So hopefully, they can figure out the field conditions and they can kind of bring this back, because I would love to see a SIAC game in Puerto Rico. I would love to call that game.
Me too.
That travel bonus, that travel allotment would be nice.
Yes, it would.
That travel allotment would be nice.
Very much so. We see what the money. The money.
That'll be the game everybody volunteered to get. But yeah. So that one didn't work out. Now, I don't know much about Franklin Pierce. I'm not gonna sit up here and pretend that I do, but I know they're a Division II team. So this is where this kind of weighs in, and this is where it kind of weighs. With Central State playing in a NAIA team, if Central State wins, that game doesn't help Central State if they were in playoff contention. That game doesn't help them.
Does not,
because it's an NAIA team.
Even if they played a Division I team, doesn't help them in the regionals.
But now Kentucky State playing a Division II team, that's another win under their belt. It goes toward a win count. If Franklin Pierce is any good, and once again, I don't know anything about Franklin Pierce, so I can't tell you if they're good or they aren't good. But that helps having another Division II win. And so now let's look ahead. Let's I don't know, what's it, pro something, Nate? You got the big vocabulary.
It's decent.
Whatever.
Yes.
Whatever. Let's look ahead. If you look at Kentucky State's schedule, Kentucky State kind of controls their own destiny to the SIAC championship. They will have a week off after they play Franklin Pierce. Then they'll play Clark Atlanta. Clark Atlanta comes to Kentucky State. So now you got Clark Atlanta taking a 10-hour bus ride to get to Kentucky State. So if Kentucky State wins that, hey, they're still in the driver's seat.
They are.
And then they play Lane. So, chalk up a win. So now Kentucky State is in the SIAC championship. Now, whoever they play, let's just say if everything holds steady, they'll play Albany State. They've already played Albany State.
They have.
Albany State already delivered a beatdown.
They did.
What if Albany State delivers another beatdown? Kentucky State still will have an outside shot at making the playoffs.
They will.
They still will have an outside shot at making the playoffs, and playing that D2 opponent helps.
Very much so. There are some sites and people on Twitter that do this, and they're already kind of projecting Kentucky State to be in there if it ended right now. Because you got to realize there's a couple things that's happened. The separation of regions within the HBCU conferences in Division II should help HBCUs in general. CIAA, I think, is in Region 1.
Yep.
I think that the SIAC is in Region 2.
Yep. And then they also they added a team, I think, and took away 2 of the bye games. So now I think they added, and I could be wrong with my numbers, but I think they added 4 teams to the playoffs and took away 2 of the bye games. So now you have a chance for a first-place SIAC team and a second-place SIAC team to make it to the playoffs.
Yes, and with those records, those at-large teams that may be able to come in within your region still may exist. And I don't think we've talked about this yet, but the deal with Conference Carolina.
Yep, that helps out too.
The 3rd and 4th place teams of each of those conferences will be playing the same week as the SIAC championship, and in hopes to strengthen their position in the playoffs or get into the playoffs. It would be great to have 3 teams, 4 teams. I mean, it would be great for both the CIAA and the SIAC.
It would be awesome, and I think this is a year where it possibly could happen. And once again, Kentucky State kind of controls their own destiny. They control their own destiny when it comes to making the playoffs. So we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, we will see what they can do. And those 3, 3rd and 4th place games, who knows? Maybe me and Sly can call it.
Hey, I'm available. I'm available.
I am too.
I'm here. I'm here. I would love to call it, but I guess that's it. That's it, man. We're getting ready for the next week. Where you gonna be at?
I will be at Miles this weekend.
That's
man.
right.
I will be at Fairfield, partaking in their homecoming. Me and Tanitra Batiste. We'll be calling that game once again, man. So I'm looking forward to it. Again, they treat you real well in Fairfield.
Okay, I'm off this week.
Whoa!
I'm off this week. This is my first off week, so I'm trying to figure out. I'm debating whether I stay in town.
Go on a ride to one of these games.
I'm debating whether I go to Spell House. I might go down to Fairfield. I might go down to Fairfield.
Okay.
I would have liked to go to Jacksonville. But
I was gonna say
that's a trip.
It is.
That's a trip for the kid.
It is.
So. I don't know, man. Somebody let me know where I need to go. If you tell me to go to your place, have a plate ready for me.
You know what I'm saying?
When I get there, don't have me just show up and y'all ain't there. So if you tell me to go, have a plate ready for me when I go there. So,
that's right.
But other than that, man, I think we're ready for next week.
I think we are.
Okay. All right. Well, he's Jamie Walker.
I am
Sylvester Williams.
He is.
This is the SIAC Sit Down.
Yes, it is, man.
Yeah, on HBCU game day. We got a name, man. We got a name. We'll see you next week here on HBCU game day.